Hey Swifties! Welcome to a brand new episode of Swiftie School, where together we walk Clownelia Street covering the latest news and Easter eggs from our fearless leader, Taylor Swift. I'm your host, Reagan Bailey, and it is enchanting to have you here. Now that we're out of the woods, let's get into today's episode.
It's another great day to be alive at the same time as Taylor Swift. Hello. We have finally made it to the last city of the US leg of the Eras Tour, and I am reporting live with only 2 stops left. I can't even believe it. You guys, well, let me say this before I get into the podcast. As you guys know, this podcast is just an expression of my thoughts and opinions, and I am in no way associated with Taylor Swift or Taylor Nation. I'm going to be very honest with you guys tonight. I just finished sobbing my eyes out. I'm having one of those days. You know, you just got to let it out sometimes. And sometimes I forget that this is my podcast and I can do whatever I want. So we're going to do a little chillaxing together tonight. I'm applying some eye patches if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, that's what I'm doing right now while I'm speaking to you. And we're just going to kick back. We're going to chit chat about Indy, a little bit of a recap. We're going to keep it short and sweet because let's be real, there's not a lot happening in the Swiftverse other than right now, at this exact very moment that I'm recording this, the Chiefs game just went into overtime and they ended up taking home the win, which is great. And Taylor's in attendance. She's wearing like an all black number this week with a fun like vintage jacket. I think it's very on brand for her. I think it's cute. It's not overdone. She wore the boots. We love the boots. And I think it's great. But let me not get ahead of myself. Indy is in the books. And I know so many of you guys were in attendance. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I several times was like, do I want to be financially irresponsible and make this decision? Absolutely. Am I going to? Probably not, because I gave myself a threshold in my head. I was like, if I can find a ticket for $1,000, even $1,000, I was like, can I pull this off? But the reality is with the flight, which like, yes, I could have used miles, but like, you know, if I use miles, I can't use those miles for other things. And then, you know, then hotel was where things got a little bit crazy. And I was like, I think I have to draw the line at like, I've gone to my shows. I feel very good about the shows that I've gone to. And it is what it is. And my question for you guys is like, are we at a point of Eras Tour fatigue, or are we ready to see what's next? Are we ready to close this chapter and hold out for a documentary and some new music? Or are you feeling nostalgic? Are you in your feels? Are you feeling regretful? Are you feeling like you enjoyed it, you know, the Eras Tour and soaked it in while it lasted? I want to know from you guys, whether you're watching on YouTube in the comments or listening on Spotify or Apple Music, whatever it might be. Let me know. Drop a comment on Instagram and tell me where you're at, because I'm curious. I'm kind of feeling somewhere in between. Like, I feel excited for what's to come. I also think, you know, post Eras Tour, there's so much opportunity for Taylor to present us with so many exciting things. I feel like we have like a fun kind of send off with the fact that we're getting the book and the anthology. So I like that we have like that little thing to look forward to. And it's not just going to be like a cold, hard stop on December 8th. But something tells me in my heart of hearts, I'm like, you know what? I don't feel too sad, because I just know she's not going to just like leave us hanging. There's no way. There's just no way, right? Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the Eras Tour. ERRORS. Eras Tour. Ka-chow. I feel like I need like a sound effect. So Eras Tour, we've got the mic pack malfunction, which I think we've all pretty much seen this video at this point, where Taylor's mic pack malfunctions. It was honestly kind of adorable. I don't know how she's so adorable in handling all these like very stressful situations where she has like one of her crew like unzipping her outfit and like doing this whole shebang. It was cute. It was fine. Not a big deal. And she kind of joked off at the end, basically saying that this stuff happens, like with all these rain shows. They're always curious as to like when the stuff is going to malfunction. It's just a matter of like, they have no idea, and it happened to malfunction. It is what it is. Now, the thing that was interesting about Indy, and I think it just kind of played into, I don't want to read too much into it, was that there was like a total blackout for 2 minutes during the show. I believe it was after Bejeweled. I might be reporting on that wrong, so don't quote me on it. But there was a total blackout. And I honestly think this was just a continuation of like the glitches they were experiencing, or Taylor might have needed a second to like sort that out. People were like, oh my God, Rep TV, is it happening finally? I don't think that Rep TV would come in like the middle of the midnight set. That would be like a total curveball and a half. But at this point, I feel like honk honk beep beep. We've gone for so many things that I'm like, all's fair in love and war here. Love and poetry. Now, the obvious thing that's like the elephant in the room is like the camera crew is undeniably filming a documentary at this point. And I'm just curious to know, like, are we getting a series? Are we getting a full blown like movie premiere situation? what is this rollout going to look like? Is it going to be like a 2025 situation, like the end of the next year? Is this going to be like, 2026, she'll drop the documentary and be like, it's been a long time coming, see me on tour again? Like, what's the vibe? What's the situation? I need a timeline here. And fingers crossed, I mean, it's November 4th. The tour ends in approximately, I guess by the time this comes out, it's going to be November 6th. But the tour will basically be ending 1 month from the time this comes out. And I'm like, I don't think a documentary is getting whipped up that fast. Plus, I'm like, maybe they'll want to get some of like the tour closing out and like the dancers saying their goodbyes for one of the last times, or like what that's going to be like. But one thing I would love for them to include in the filming, which I hope they don't skip out on, is like, I want to know what it's like when they travel from like location to location. So like when Taylor's going to go from, obviously Indianapolis to Canada is not like that crazy, and she's going to have time in between. But I want to know, like, do the dancers fly home after Indianapolis and chill at home for a week and then all meet up in Canada? Do they meet all in LA? Do they all live in LA? Does Taylor meet them in LA? Do they rehearse it all before they go to Canada? Do they all meet up in Canada a week before? Like, do they go straight from Indianapolis to Canada? How is that like work? I'm very, very curious. I also want to know, like, one thing I've thought about so much is like pay structure. Like, how do they get paid? Is it like, are you paid for rehearsals and for the show? Do you get like a flat salary offer? I'm very curious how that all works. But we had Travis showing up in, I think, the second half of Indy Night 2 and was seen being filmed. So that's exciting. And then Night 3, Indy, there was a cameraman actually like physically on stage during the Champagne Problems standing ovation, which is interesting because I'm like, they obviously already have footage of that from the Eras Tour film itself. So I'm like, why do we need more of that? Why that particular moment is my question. Maybe she didn't like the footage they already had. Maybe she wanted to show, like, I don't know. I'm very, very curious. But that's my thoughts on the documentary. I have lots of question marks there. But the surprise songs were really hard hitters in Indy. And I feel like one thing that we're not going to be disappointed with for the rest of the tour is the absolute bangers and a half that are going to be the mashups. I have a feeling we'll get one more guest. Maybe one more guest per stop, one in Vancouver, one in Toronto. I don't feel like Vancouver will get any because I think those last few shows, she's really going to keep it like kind of true, like to itself. But I could see maybe zesting it up in Toronto. But what are your thoughts? Do you feel like we're going to have like a special guest every night, or it's just going to be like no guests, straightforward? I also would love if Gracie came out and they did Us. Would be really fun because they haven't done that yet, I don't think. So anyways, we've got surprise songs: Albatross, Holy Ground, Cold as You, Exile, Prophecy, This Love, Maroon, Cowboy Like Me, Cornelia Street, The Bolter. Some people said that like it looks like she might have been crying when she was singing the Cornelia Street Bolter mashup. I don't like to speculate on that sort of stuff because I'm like, feelings are feelings, and obviously she has them. Do we need to sit here and like hash that out? No. But the one that I think was an absolute smasher was the Night 3 Indy mashup on piano, Death by a Thousand Cuts and The Great War. DBATC? Yeah. Like death by a thousand cuts. My heart, my hips, my body, my love. Trying to find that part of me that you didn't touch. God, that's such a banger. The Great War? Are you kidding me? That's like, I need that played at my funeral. Please and thank you. I do think the cutest part to come out of the Indy shows is the New Orleans Stadium, Caesars Superdome, trading their like big giant friendship bracelet with Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. I think that it ended up getting like destroyed by the wind or something, but that's beside the point. So freaking cute. And it just shows like the power of just like, I think the thing I really took away from that small little gesture is like, think about if Taylor never wrote that lyric. Think about if she was like, oh, that's dumb. That lyric is silly. Like, I shouldn't put that out there. And I think it's such a good takeaway for all of us who are creative or whatever you're creative in, whether it's, motherhood, or if you're trying to shoot for the stars with a new job, or take a leap of faith and take on a new hobby, whatever it might be. Like, if you don't try, you never know. And even though this sounds like so, I don't know, nuanced, if she never was like, I'm going to put that lyric out there, so much goodness wouldn't have followed. And I think that it's just like a nice little gentle reminder that we all have things in our brain that we've thought about a million times, and you're like, I don't know. And you should go for it because you never know if the world is ready for it. Are you ready for it? Now, there's a couple of theories from you guys that were sent in, and the one that I found most interesting is talking about the Folkmore dresses. Basically, for all of the, this past leg, Taylor has been exclusively wearing traffic light colored dresses for the Baltimore set, meaning that she's only been wearing either the yellow, the green, or the berry dress, which is very like red colored, so red, yellow, or green. My thought here is like, yes, of course we could be like, that's very interesting. Like, why is she choosing the traffic light colors? Like, getaway car, reputation, blah, blah, blah. It could be a matter of like, the other ones are already in like a different truck on their way to Canada and they've been dry cleaned or something, like as stupid or silly as that. But I do kind of feel like it's intentional. Like, why? She has so many variations of that dress. Why omit the cream, the blue? I think there's purple, like baby pink. There's a million options of that dress. So to continue wearing those same 3 over and over again, my only other thought is filming. Continuity for filming. But I want to know from you guys. What do you think? Is it a clue? Is it an Easter egg? Does it mean anything? Do you have any eggs that are on top of mind? Are you kind of skating by? I'm not presenting too many theories to you guys because I kind of feel like we're figuring it out at this point. Like, we just want Reputation and Debut to come when they come. It's going to be a blast regardless. Like, let's enjoy the last couple of shows. Or last couple of stops. Like, let's enjoy the book that's coming out. It's going to be a blast. Thanksgiving, holidays, Christmas, whatever it might be, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. Like, let's have fun. The end of the year's running out and Taylor's birthday's coming up soon. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to come when it's going to come and it's going to be a blast. So honk, honk, beep, beep. Here we are. As always, my name's Reagan and this is Swiftie School. And I also have a Patreon. So if you're interested in connecting with me further, supporting the podcast, all the free time that I put into my Taylor Swift related content, or you want to connect with other Swifties, check out my Patreon at patreon.com/SwiftiesChool. You can go on desktop, you can do it on the app. It's a fun time. And I host clown calls basically like every other week, 2 times a month. I host clown calls where we get on to Google Meet and we clown about stuff. We've been doing lyric deep dives recently, which has been really fun. Sometimes we do scavenger hunts. Sometimes we dress up. It's really fun. There's a lot of members over there and it's a great way to connect and chit chat with other Swifties, especially with the Eras Tour ending so soon, where we're going to have Eras Tour blues and we want to talk to other people. Capiche? Capiche. Anyways, thanks for listening. My name's Reagan. Don't forget to rate, review, and come back next week. Thanks for watching and I will see you on the next one. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. I know all too well how busy life can be, and I am so grateful that you chose to stay. Now just know this is me trying, and I would greatly appreciate if you took a minute to leave a review or maybe share this episode with a fellow Swiftie. Make sure you join my broadcast channel on Instagram for more Swiftivities, and long story short, this love is real, and I'm beyond grateful for your support. See you next time.